video. I am in Utah, the Bonneville Salt Flats. Pretty much as flat as you can get. Very salty. So the load I have right now, I have something for buried plastics. Pretty much they're garbage bags, more or less. Headed to San Jose, California. So I'm on I-80 right now. Still in Utah. I gotta cross through Nevada and then over Donner Pass and into California and everything. Deliver tomorrow. And I'll most likely get reloaded with produce. So I'm gonna try to start keeping my videos a little shorter now. One of you viewers just kind of mentioned that maybe keep the videos a little shorter, just because some of you may not want to watch, you know, a 16 and 20 minute video. So I'm trying to start keeping my videos down below, like closer to like 10 or 12 minutes. And if they do end up getting longer, you know, I'll definitely, if I know they're gonna end up being longer than that, I'll definitely give you guys a heads up so you know what to expect more in the video. So not so much dead silence in my video. I'm gonna try to keep talking and stuff like that, and such. And I think what I'm gonna start doing now as well, let me roll my window up real quick. Some fresh air. Maybe start doing some like facts about where I'm at, you know, fun facts, I guess. So I think I'm gonna do that in this video. If it's not pretty, you know, straightforward about where I'm at, you know, in a big city, you know, there's not, you know, probably some fun facts about it, but you know, it's a big city, you know. But who knows? But so yeah, Bonneville Salt Flats. So let's do some fun facts. The Salt Flats here are actually remnants of an old ancient lake. It used to be here. It's part of the Great Salt Lake Basin. And then right now, technically, this is kind of like the Great Salt Lake desert on this side. And there's a couple areas that are kind of like part of that desert region of the Great Salt Lake. Yeah, so this used to be part of an ancient lake here. It's about 100,000 square miles, which isn't, it's up there, but I mean, from the point that I started to the mountain range that's up there where I gotta climb over, it's about 40 miles. But I think it's, I can't remember, I think it's from north to south, I think is more than it is from east to west, I believe. Because it does wrap around quite a bit in that direction. So yeah, apparently it was an old ancient lake. Another thing is that there's a lot of times, especially this time of year, the soil is actually really soft. It's still pretty wet, but you can't tell just by looking at it. So you see these tracks and stuff like that kind of like look like mud, and there's water kind of in tracks and stuff. And it's because people will come out here and drive into the field, I guess field, but dirt. But that salt and dirt, the small sediments of dirt, will float to the top, and that will start to dry out and form a very thin crust on the top of the more of the muddy stuff. Let me move over here real quick. So apparently it's been common where people will drive out there and get stuck because they think it's dry enough, but as soon as they hit it, they sink. And it's not a lot, but it's enough to get stuck in, because it's in that the wet soil there is like sludge. So it's not that you sink really far, it's just that it is so thick and nasty that it really holds you in. But I guess this is pretty, I think it's pretty common knowledge that they do a lot of a lot of people come out here and do racing challenges and stuff like that. Now those happen later in the year. They do a lot of those in like August or maybe end of July, because that will give it enough time to dry out. Because you talk about here, see these deep tracks. is because there's been water underneath that top layer of salt and small sediment that ends up drying out. But it does take a long time, and the reason it takes so long is because, again, that salt is white. It reflects all that sunlight, so it takes, and even the heat alone is what it has to dry it out. So it can take quite a bit, and of course, there's every once in a while there are rain chances, in June and July where it can rain out here, even though it does get pretty warm. So it does, again, it takes a while. So by August is usually when they're doing those races. And speaking of the races, one of the speed records that was done out here, or say is the speed record, is 142.8 miles an hour, according to these facts. Don't mind me here. So yeah, Bonneville Salt Flats. I'm just going to read straight off what this says. Bonneville Salt Flats, stretch of the barren salt flats covering about 100 square miles in Tulare County in northwestern Utah. The flats are part of a Great Salt Lake Desert, which are a remnant of a bed of an ancient lake formed about 30,000 years ago. So there's a fun fact for you. Now you know how old it is. And in terms of, astronomy, that really, I guess it's astronomy and biology and stuff like that, and geology, I guess, more or less. That's really not that, I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's really old according to those. I don't know if that's the case, but I think it's fairly recent. 30,000 years ago, I guess, in terms of like geology and such. If anybody want to fact check me on that, I'm pretty sure that would be considered recent in geology standards. So, but yeah, up ahead, you probably can see it better now, is a mountain range, and right before that is Wendover, Utah, and West Wendover, Nevada, and then I'll have to climb over that, and that'll take me a couple hills and such, and then Wells, Nevada. So had Park City we had to get over to drop down into Salt Lake, and then we Salt Lake City, and then now we got the flat terrain here across the Bonneville Salt Flats. And it's pretty early morning, so it's kind of it's not too bright, but I know that later in the year in these flats, a lot of that salt that's in the soil will rise further up to the top because you get a little bit of rain and stuff. It'll rise further up, and then it settles and the sun's out, and does it reflect? It reflects so bad that it is very bright. I've been out here. I've only been out here in the daytime, but I have a picture of one of my buddies driving out here in the morning during a full moon. It was like July or something like that. So there was the full moon, no clouds whatsoever, so it was perfect. It was reflecting perfectly off the salt and getting quite a vivid, I guess vivid's not the right word, I can say bright light, so it wasn't very dark as you'd expect it to be out in the middle of nowhere. And that's just all because of that salt. But the other thing that's out here, and it's further back over by Tulare and Grantsville and stuff like that, is the Norton Salts plant. Now, anybody who has table salt and stuff like that, a lot of that is by Norton. Norton also does a lot of rock salt. Rock salt you use on roadways, and if you're making homemade ice cream, you're most likely using rock salt. Now, Norton does a lot of that. So I know I'm jumping conversations too much. Oh, my face itches. Okay. But yeah, so gotta get over the mountain, get Wells, and then I'll probably stop in like Fernley, which is just a little east of Reno. Like fuel up there and take my break and stuff like that, and then jump on over Donner. Donner can be very, I won't say stressful, because it's not really not stressful, it's just, it can be a little bit of a pain. Can be. Just from Reno to Sacramento, well, just to Auburn. And Auburn's towards the bottom of Donner Pass. So it's kind of like one of your last points that you hit before you work on leveling out. Which I think it's like Citrus something, I forgot what it's called, which is kind of more of a suburb of Sacramento area, part of the east. But I usually say Auburn because from Reno to Auburn's kind of the big chunk of it. That alone is like 65, 70 some miles. So it does take a long time. And now going this way, it's a really steep climb up to Truckee. And then it's pretty leveled out. A little bit of a climb from there up to Donner Lake, which is kind of the peak. Which doesn't take very long to get up there. It's only like maybe 20 miles to get up to Truckee from Reno. It might be another 10 from there up to Donner Lake. But the rest of the way is just trying to come down. And it's because most of that mountain range is actually on the other side. So it's a steep up, but then you have to slowly climb down the other side. And it's not one, a steady decline either. You gotta get ups and downs the whole time as well. So it's a nice staggered drop, and being that I'm heavy, that is very nice to have. Construction. So yep, I think I'll cut this video now. It might be getting a little longer than I wanted it to. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't be afraid to hit the notification button as well. The notification bell. So that way you know exactly when I'm uploading a new video. So you guys take it easy and peace out.